My name is Joyce Mwangi. I had never really thought about the national anthem until March last year. Like most of us, the national anthem was introduced to me in primary school, lower primary school to be exact. And I went to a primary school in the village. So you can imagine when we sang the anthem, all the shades of mother tongue influence, but sing it, we did with our hearts. We sang it twice a week, on Monday and on Friday. What stood out for me was that there was a lot of respect for the national anthem. We stood at attention when we sang the anthem. And something else, we sang the entire 3 stanzas of whichever version was chosen for the day. As I went to upper primary and secondary school, I noticed a difference. We no longer sang the entire anthem. We sang maybe one verse. Sometimes we didn't sing. People didn't stand at attention. And when I went to college, I can count on my hands the number of times that we sang the anthem. Maybe that is why it didn't bother me. When I saw that nobody respected the anthem anymore. Because to me, it was introduced as a song, just a song. Maybe that is why it never bothered me when I could no longer remember the words of the national anthem. I could no longer sing them from my heart. Maybe that is why it never bothered me when people just kept walking as the anthem was sung. And maybe that is why it never bothered me when in national events, we no longer sang the anthem. The police bands played the tune of one verse of the anthem as people ate popcorn, njugu karanga, drank sodas, and nobody was even humming to the anthem. But in March last year, all that changed. I fell in love with the anthem. And it changed my whole life. It made me a patriot, and I fell in love with Kenya and her people. And I want to take you through my journey of falling in love with the national anthem. How did it all start? Blogging. I started blogging at the beginning of last year, thanks to encouragement by a dear friend of mine who told me, you need to start blogging. And then you should aim for publishing books. Publishing books? That sounded more like Vision 2030. But what do you know? 5 months down the line, I had published my first book on the national anthem. And in July, it was in print. And when I began to interact with this anthem, to look at the chapters, from the first verse to the second one to the third one, I began to see a flow, order. It is a beautiful piece of music. And the people that wrote it, I would dare say they were divinely inspired. When you look at the 18 lines, from the first to the last, each builds to the other. Justice comes before unity, and unity comes before peace. And only when our hearts are strong and true can service be our earnest endeavor. And when you go down to the last to the last stanza of the national anthem, you will begin to see that only when we are in one accord can we have a harvest of our labor, which gives us hearts that are full of thanksgiving. When I look at the national anthem, I see 3 things. First, it is a prayer. That is quite obvious from the first line of both the English and the Swahili national anthem, O God of all creation, and E Mungu nguvu yetu. The second thing I see with the national anthem is that it is a symbol of national unity. We only have one anthem for the 44 tribes. The third thing I see on the national anthem is it a call to action, a call to take responsibility, individual and collective responsibility. But taking responsibility is not something that we have done when we have looked at the national anthem. And something else I've seen with the anthem is that our national anthem, the beauty that it is, the power that it is not just unique to Kenya. When you look at the other national anthems of the countries in Africa, and even the countries of the world, you begin to see a similar theme flowing through this national anthem. That is why when a dear friend of mine from Rwanda told me, she was very impressed with what I'd done with the national anthem, and she told me, I'd want to do something similar with what you had done with the national anthem in Kenya, and I'm looking forward to see what she will do with the anthem. When after I had written my book, I realized that I needed to get people to endorse the book. So I went around looking for Kenyans of goodwill, people who would be willing to put their names to paper to sign on my book. And it is one of those people that first mentioned to me the name Professor Washington Omondi. If I say that I had heard that name before, I'd be lying. Professor Washington Omondi is the only surviving member of the 5-man team that wrote our national anthem. Meeting him was a great inspiration to me because it fostered the beliefs and the conviction I'd started to have about the national anthem. And meeting him made me know that what I was onto about the national anthem being a tool for creating and birthing patriotism in Kenyans was true. Many things I learned from him, but 2 things stand out. The first one is we have 2 anthems, Wimbo wa Taifa la Kenya and Kenya National Anthem. Both of these anthems have the same tune, a Pokomo lullaby tune. Both of these anthems have the same structure, 3 stanzas, 6 lines in each stanza, and 18 lines. Both of these anthems have the same values, the same spirit, but they're expressed differently. The second thing that he told me that stood out for me is that the word undugu, U-N-D-U-G-U, which is in the 4th line of the Wimbo wa Taifa la Kenya, is a mistake. It should be udugu, U-D-U-G-U. Some Kenyan, somewhere along the line, decided there was a mistake and changed the national anthem. And the good professor has actually lodged a case in court to change this. Why, you may ask? Because that word stands at the center of our national anthem. It is the word around which both our national anthems revolve. So let's unpack udugu, shall we? When I asked the professor to write a foreword for my book, he told me he'd do it on one condition. I'd have to give the same treatment I had given to the Kenyan National Anthem to the Wimbo wa Taifa la Kenya. Of course, I said yes. I needed his endorsement, but I really did intend to do it. And as I speak to you right now, I have the final draft for the Wimbo wa Taifa la Kenya devotional. And in a few weeks, we'll go to print. Thank you. And in a few weeks, we're going to go to print. Swahili is not my forte. So to write this book, it's taken an entire village of my friends, their friends, acquaintances, people I don't even know, people I've never met, that I've just met on email. And the word udugu has been at the center of it all. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to you the key foundations that we need as a nation. To me, as I studied the national anthem, I have seen that there are 4 values, 4 national values in every stanza of the national anthem. And since we have 3 stanzas, that makes them 12 national values. That is in both the English and the Swahili. But sadly, what we have developed as a nation, what we have built is the undungu, the brotherhoods, not udugu, our common bond. We have built all types of undugus. We have the economic undugus, we have the social class undugus, the political undugus, the tribe undugus, the gender undugus, but we do not have a strong udugu. Our national values are not as strong. And one of our strongest undugu is the undungu of tribe. Is it a wonder then? 54 years after independence, we continue to spiral downwards towards disintegration. Is it a wonder that since 1992, when we got multi-party democracy, every 5 years, like clockwork, our house is swept away by the winds and storm of politics and elections? Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot continue to walk on this path of disintegration. Yet, with us, we have a gem. We have a heritage. We have a beautiful piece of music. That is not just music. That is not a song, just a song, as was presented to us. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know that the Kenyan National Anthem is a vision, a blueprint of what Kenya and her people can be and can become. And what is more, it is also a roadmap of how we're going to get there. The sad thing about the kind of udugus that we currently have is that not only are they being practiced and perpetuated by the adults, but we have passed them down to the young ones, to those that are behind us. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the actions that are in our nation, the big and the small actions. One of the strongholds, one of the hallmarks of the economic and political undungu is theft of public resources. That is a big one. It's out there. But what do you and I, the common mwananchi, contribute to building our house on sand? Look at the kind of things we post on social media. We had a whole year of electioneering last year. Just look at the hatred, tribal bigotry that was being spewed across social media. Come down to your WhatsApp. What jokes do you laugh at? What memes do you pass around? Are you building on your undungus, your brotherhoods, or on udugu, our common bond, our foundation? I want to let you know that the building of a strong foundation is going to take each and every one of us. Each and every one of us must begin to ask ourselves questions. Questions that we must also answer. Like, what is justice? And what does it mean when I say justice should be our shield and defender? And what is my role in making it happen? What does it mean when I say I should defend my homeland of Kenya? How does that look like for me? How does one accord and a common bond look like for me? And what is my responsibility as an individual to make it happen? Ladies and gentlemen, the values in our Kenyan National Anthem, when we build them as a strong foundation, and then upon them we build our undungus, there'll be a difference. From the toxic, self-centered kind of undungus that we currently have, we will have undungus that are infused with national values, undungus that revolve around the cornerstone of our common board, and that is udugu. As you can well imagine, this is a Herculean task. It needs all hands on deck. Is it impossible? No. It needs action, personal, individual, and collective responsibility. My action and your action. I being the change I want to see, and you being the change that you want to see. And together, we will have the kind of country, the kind of people that we desire to have. So join me in relearning, studying, and becoming the Kenyan National Anthem. Thank you.